Okay, so boat crew program, we are used to supplement the Coast Guard on the navigable waters, which is anything out along the coast and the Colorado River, which is considered the navigable waters. So those are controlled by the just for us, it's the sector San Diego. And then for any of the waters that are controlled by the local law enforcement in our area, whether it's the sheriffs, the Fish and Game, depending upon what area you're in, and some of them is even they have the lifeguards control several of the lakes down in LA area. When I use the term boat crew, it's not just a boat crew person. That includes all aspects. That's the boat crew, the coxswains, or the PW, the personal watercraft operators. Okay, and some of the examples of what you do when you're out doing a surface operation mission could be a marine observation mission, called a MOM. We could be doing private aids to navigation. Okay, so that's the Regatta Patrols, where we go out and check the what's called private aids, which is what you see 90% of the buoys and fixtures you see out there for navigation are considered private aids, which means that they're controlled by the local municipalities in that area. The ones that are controlled by the Coast Guard are going to be the ones that are offshore of that. Then we could be involved in some search and rescue missions, or we could be doing regatta patrols. If a local area is doing a item like a boat race, and they ask the Coast Guard to send some assistance, then the auxiliary usually ends up supplementing the Coast Guard on that. We could be doing parades similar to the boat parades that's like in Newport Beach. That's the largest boat parade in the country. So we usually have about 6 or 7 auxiliary boats out supplementing the Coast Guard and the local law enforcement for those parades. And then we could, we go out and we do our training missions. And then there's several others that get done throughout the if you want to know how you could become a trainee, how you could join the surface operations, okay, first you got to be a auxiliary member. Okay, you got to actually hit. So if your application pending still and don't have your member number yet, you won't be able to actually become a member of the surface operations until you actually become a member. You will have to have completed your core training. Okay, you'll hear that a lot probably throughout the day. Everything we're doing now, we have to make sure that our core training is up to date. Okay, you want to ask, get a recommendation from your flotilla commander. You have to be physically capable of doing all the tasks that are going to be required by our personal qualification standards. So once you start doing it, there's a checklist of all the items that you have to be able to do to be considered sufficiently well knowledgeable to do all the tasks as a crew person. And then you have to work with a mentor who can then sign off your personal qualification standards for boat crew. And to find out who they are in your area, you should go to your either FSO operations or your FSO MT, and they can let you know who the people are that are have the signature authority to do the boat crew sign-off. So there's actually 2 different type of mentors that we have in the auxiliary. One is one for the boat crew, and then there's a second one which is a mentor for you as a new auxiliary member, and you're just wanting to learn more about the auxiliary. They're not always the same people. So like I say, what's new for this program for 2021? So we moved into phase 3 of the reconstitution of the auxiliary into the Coast Guard. Okay, so there's a instruction that our area commander up in Alameda has put out as to what we could do in our area. That's located up on the website, the d11s.org, and then you go to the phase 3 rollout, and we'll go into that. Like I say, I'll actually bring that up later on at the end of the presentation. Okay, and so what is it really saying that we do? Okay, so first thing, on these it says that everyone has to be current on their core training. We will have to submit what's called a high-risk certification form 7101. And that form you have to actually print a copy of it, check off the blocks that pertain to you, and then scan it and email that down to the DIROC's office so they have it on record. And with that, you don't have to refill that form out every time you're asking for another assignment to duty. That only has to be done once, and then you only have to update it as if something changes, which could be something along the lines of if you have gotten vaccinated. So, and once you're considered fully vaccinated, you can update that form to say that, yes, I've also been fully vaccinated. And then you do it, what's called if you're going to go out and want to do a mission, you're going to do a assignment to duty, which is also on our website. You go to the D11S website and then go to the phase 3 rollout, and then there's an assignment to duty tab that you'll click on, and then there's an online form for that one. So that one you can do online. You fill out what it is you're wanting to do. Yeah, go ahead, Kathy. Oh, you're still muted. Kathy, did you have a question? Okay. Yeah, David. Oh, you're muted too. Can you unmute?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
As I recall, and I don't know if it's still the current situation or not, but those are TCO qualification and so on and so forth. If you had that, you can ride along on a patrol if they needed a communicator, but you were not authorized to handle the boat in any way. Is that still?
So yeah, so you can now we are able to allow persons to also ride along that are not actually boat crews and could be a TCO, could then do a ride along also. Again, it would have to be put on, the coxswain should put that on the assignment to duty for the patrol he's going to ask for, indicate down it in the other block that he'll have this person give the name, member number, and again, the person will have still had to have done the high risk assessment form, or have all that in on record down at the office, at the DIROC's office, and then it will go in, and then the OTO will review that and decide, yes, whether that's for now, whether or not it's good to go ahead and allow someone else to go out that's not either a trainee or a boat crew person.
Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome. So this is just a screenshot of where the phase 3 rollout is when you go on the D11 website. So when you bring up the D11 website, you'll see all the different sub tabs you can go to, and you go to the D11 SR auxiliary phase 3 rollout, and then you can click on that, and then there'll be other tabs you can go to once you click on that tab. And when we demonstrate it later, you'll get a better idea of it if you haven't used it yet. Okay, so what are some of the things that we need to know about now that we're in this new phase 3? And we are going to have to follow the guidelines that the Commodore, the commander, the sector commander has put out. If you're a if you're a boat crew member, you will have to stay current in your risk management. Otherwise, you would not be able to go out as a boat crew member. You would have to go out as a trainee until you get that done. Everyone who is a boat crew member needs to have completed the 2021 operations workshop by June 30th. On July 1st, if they haven't done it, they'll become REWK and won't be considered an active boat crew person until they've completed that course. And then when we go to requesting our check rides for this year, okay, we're going to actually be doing it, or the check rides have been extended for years 18, if you've last done your check ride in 18, 19, or possibly 20, if anyone did theirs in 20, will have been extended for an additional year. So anyone who had done it in 18 would normally be due again in 21, but now they've been extended, so they won't be actually due again until 22. And again, that's calendar year, so it goes all the way through December 31st of whatever year you are due. Okay, and for those that have to take the risk management refresher course, you can find that on the D11S website under calendars, and you go into the calendar, look at the month, and then go down to where the risk management refresher is. Right now we're loading them up month by month, so we don't have them loaded up yet for June, July, August, September. And as we start getting the people to fill up the classes, once we have a class full, we'll add the next group of classes. So probably next week, we'll put in all the classes that we're going to do for June. And then about mid-month of June, we'll put in the ones for July. Mostly we're doing Tuesday night, Wednesday night class. It's half the 2 hours on Tuesday night, 2 hours on a Wednesday night, and then one during the month we'll do on a Saturday and do all 4 hours on a Saturday. Yeah, David, you got a question? David, did you have a question? Okay. Okay, so this is a quick kind of update of what I just mentioned, that if for the people that had done their check rides last in 2017, which means they would have been due last year in 2020, they got extended through 2021. Back last year when COVID first broke out, they will be due this year and are not going to be extended. So everyone that was last done in 17 will have to do their check rides this year. Anyone that is due in 20, that had done their last one in 2018 will be through December 31st of 22, and 19 through 23. And if you had done one in 20, it's now going to be not due again till 24. And they did this in order to limit the amount of people that are all going to be due at one time. Try not to make it where you got a big group in one year and then nobody in another year down the line. So it's actually try to keep it spread out so you have an even number of check rides each year, so the QEs don't end up getting overwrought and not be able to accomplish all the check rides that have to be done in one year. Okay, we're going to set a priority to who gets to do a check rides, and it will be right now set to where the people that have done their last one in 17 will be first priority. If there's anyone who's REYR from prior to 17 that wants to get back going again, they'll be priority 2. We have our new candidates. We'll move as priority 3. And then if you're one of the others, which means you would have fallen into the extension program, the 18 that had last done it in 18 or 19 or 20, we'll do those as priority 4 if they want to recert early. Okay, we're going to do our check rides in what's called a QEX format, which means we'll try to get as many of the people in a geographical area all done at one time. We're going to ask, right? This is kind of some of the SOs, ops. This is going to be, this is new, so this just came out this week. I'm going to get it all worked out how we're going to do it, and I'll send an update to the SO ops so they can send it down to all the FSO operations, and we'll try to get it determined how we're going to be able to do each of the different geographical areas throughout the remainder of the year, which will probably start, in June next month, might be able to start next month, and then start doing June, July, August, September. Once we get into October, we will always run into that issue where there might not be funding right away because of the new fiscal year for the Coast Guard. Money doesn't get allocated till later on in the month. So it may be that the beginning of October we won't be able to plan any, but we could still do some of the end of October and into November. We're going to want to have the SO ops. What we would prefer is the SO ops be our point of contact. And if the SO ops is not going to be, or if they're going to be out of the area during the time when they're going to be when we're going to do the QE check, QEX in their area, to at least give us who the new point of contact will be, that's going to help coordinate it with all the members and the QEs that will come out. The point of contact for our QEXs is going to be Robert P. McCoy, right? Bob McCoy, who is our QE coordinator. So once the SOs have their know when they're wanting to do it, they'll send Bob a email saying, this is when our division wants to do our QEX. It would be good to have a primary date and a secondary date. Anyone who has worked on this when we did it in 2019, that was how we did it. It worked out pretty well. And then we also want to have an email to Leslie, so it would go to both Bob McCoy and to Leslie, because she's handling all the admin, making sure that we can get our orders still. She's able to still work all that, and that we can get the right number of people out that's needed when a QE is going to be requested. There is still a possibility if we got just stragglers toward the end, that we can do single person if need be, if they can't get in and do one with the whole group. But we do want to still try to get as many done in a geographical area as possible. So how do we actually get out and do our missions now? Okay, so now that we've moved into phase 3, the bubbles have gone away. We no longer have to work in bubbles any longer. Our coxswain or the boat owner, could be either one, will submit the assignment to duty. And that's done on the website. Again, it needs to be done at a minimum of 14 days prior to when you want to go underway. It would be better, the longer, the more time, the better, because again, it's got to go, the OTO is going to review it. He's going to make sure all the people that are on the crew have their forms in, both the high risk, and if you're a crew person, you also have to have the bloodborne pathogens training done. Once that's done and the OTO reviews it and says, yep, all the people are good to go, he'll then let the OIA know that we're going to be requesting a order for X time frame. And he'll send an email back to the either boat owner or coxswain that requested it and say, yes, it's okay now to put in the orders, and the OIA will approve them. One of the things that you want to make sure that you have, right, all the proper, both boat crew PPE still on board, along with all what we are calling our, let's say, our COVID-19 PPE on board the facility when it's ready to go, which includes masks and gloves are still going to be needed when you actually meet up with, if you end up having to meet up with the public, okay, and get together with someone that you do not know if they have if they are a high risk person. And then once the coxswain gets the request emailed back to him from the OTO, they'll put in the request for orders, and that's done in AUX data 2. And then he'll let the crew people know that, yeah, we are approved for to go out, and really at that point, the coxswain should set up a risk management session prior to getting underway. So that way you can do a quick review of what you expect to have through that patrol. After you've completed a patrol, the coxswain or boat owner needs to go into AUX data 2 and close out the orders. The information systems person, either for the flotilla or division, who has the closeout authority, will be able to go in then and close out their portion for our hours. The order issuing authority will go in and close out their portion for the finance part of it. And if either one of them have any questions, they'll contact the boat owner or coxswain and say, oh, there's something either wrong here, please go in, correct X, Y, or Z, and then resubmit again. And all orders must be closed out within 30 days of completion of the patrol. So we're not going to leave orders hanging any longer. After 30 days, they're going to actually close. They're going to then, the OIA will go in and cancel the order and say, well, they did not request funding, therefore it's a closed a moot point now. So it's really imperative that the boat owner or coxswain gets in and closes out those orders as soon as possible after the completion of the mission. All right, if you're a personal watercraft operator, it's done the same as a boat facility. With there's some minor exceptions, is that since you're a personal watercraft operator, you're the both considered coxswain and crew and boat owner, usually coxswain, crew, boat owner. So you'll have to request your own orders. Make sure that you're working with another facility. Could be another boat, or it could be a second PWO. That has to be indicated on your order request down in the comments section, who the second person is you'll be working with. And then you have to also remember and work into the amount of time you'll be doing to work with our operational time limits for a PWO. Okay, so if we have a PWO in training, so that's someone who wants to be a personal watercraft operator and is not yet gotten qualified, and they're going out and getting their PQS sign-offs and training in order to be able to get their sign-offs. They'll have to request their orders, indicate who their primary PWO is that they're going to be working with. And then there's always still has to be a second qualified facility going out with them. So normally it's going to be either two PWOs qualified or a PWO and a boat facility that they'll be working with. And then the same thing, the PWOIT will have to close out their orders. So they'll have to work with the qualified PWO to learn how to close out their orders also. Okay, so summary of this portion, we got, right, all boat crew members have to be current in core training, risk management, or else they will be considered REYR. They will have to also have done the surface operations workshop by June 30th, or they will fall into REWK, and also no longer be able to be a active boat crew member until they've completed that workshop. And same thing, the workshop, similarly to if you complete core training, it does not automatically go right into the day you did the workshop, will not go in and click the switch to say, nope, you're active again. That takes several weeks sometimes. So if you do it and you're wanting to do the workshop and then want to get underway within probably less than 2 weeks, you'll have to let your SOIS know that you're, FSOIS know that you completed the workshop. They can then go in and click the button to change it, and also probably let the DIROC's office know that you've completed it. And if you're requesting orders, they'll say, yeah, we're requesting orders, and they'll be able to then verify that you've completed it, and then go in and click the, basically, as we call it, a switch to say that you are now back to being an active boat crew member. Any questions so far on this portion, or any comments you want to discuss on it? If
Tom,
not,
I have some questions. Diane.
okay. Oh, hi, Diane. Good to see you.
Hi. You talked about having QEXs for the check rides.
Yep.
I don't quite understand how that will fit in with the priorities. Is it
So-
possible that a division could request more than one QEX and
Yes.
do maybe priority 1 and 2 in the first one,
Well,
and
why
3
don't,
and 4 in the
Diane,
second?
it could go that way, right? But what I think you should do is request all of them when you do your QEX. Request everyone that you're wanting to get done on the first, and yeah, and have a second date, have a second one maybe scheduled for later in the year also, which is okay. And if anyone that didn't get it done in the first portion could get done in the second portion.
Okay, my concern is our patrol rollouts have been pretty slow, and some people have already been on boats and other people won't be on boats for a while.
Yep.
So it's likely we might have a segment of our people ready earlier in the year, maybe by August, late July, August, and other people won't be ready until closer to the end of the year.
Right, which is, like I said, is probably,
Okay.
it's okay. And you
All
guys,
right.
since you're in an area that in November, it's actually a nicer time to be
Yeah.
out on the lake than it would be in August, right?
Right.
So yes,
Okay.
I would say request both
Okay.
then.
And also about the timeline to put in for orders, you said at least 14 days.
Minimum 14
I
days.
thought we just got a message that said no more than 14 days. People
No,
were
that's
requesting
to
too far
request
out.
the assignment to duty. Should be more than 14 days, and right, then you'll put in what you'll put in once you get the yes, you were approved, then you'll put it into Ops data after that.
Okay, so the aux data is the 14
Ops
day.
data is
limit.
the
Okay,
but
Right.
the request so that way they can verify that everybody has all their everything done that needs to be done can be done well ahead of time.
okay,
So it knows, yeah, you might say, in 4 weeks, we want to do a patrol. These are the people that we want to go out with, that we're planning to go out with,
okay,
right? You say the DIROC's office then going to screen all that before they even mention it to the OIA.
okay. All
Okay.
right, thank you.
Tom,
welcome.
Linnea Haas.
Hi, Linnea, yes.
Hi there. Question, you had mentioned the current list of boat crew mentors. Can you tell us where we find this list?
Yeah, no, I cannot. I'm sorry to say. I could, I will look into it. We used to have a list of it on the old website. I don't know that that is up to date yet. I will check with our, I will check on that and see what I can get back with you on that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Tom, Bill Malloy here.
yeah, Bill.
Are D11 South boat crew members authorized to crew on missions patrols in D11 North?
That, all right. The quick answer is not without our OTO contacting their OTO and working together on it. So if you're wanting to do that, put in a request the assignment to duty on the website, saying that you're wanting to go do something up with D11 North. They use the exact same form, that we do to do their patrols. Okay, they do it exactly the same, the same procedure we do. So then our OTO will contact their OTO, right, Mr. Finkelson, and my guess is yes, there should be no problem. They've accepted our training as well. We have accepted their training.
Thank you.
Tom, Chris Rosario.
Yeah, Chris.
Hey, are we gonna, like we did in 2019, are we gonna publish the list up of all QEXs across all divisions so that we can
Yes.
cross over if we need
Yep.
to? Okay.
Yes, as
perfect.
soon as we start getting a list together, we'll put it on the website, on the calendar on the website. everyone can then go in and see where all the QEXs are. And if you can't necessarily do yours, the one that your area has asked for, but yet San Diego, for your, let's say yours, either San Diego or LA or up in the LA area, you could get someone into either one of the others.
Follow-up question.
Yes.
Are we allowed to combine boat crew and PWO in a single
Yes.
QEX?
Yes, you can certainly request that.
Perfect. Thank you.
There are, because then we do have several that can do either. Several of our QEs that can handle either. And if they're in the area, we might as well get it done. Okay. Any more questions? Anybody got questions on how boat crew training is gonna go? Because right now, it is something that right now all the divisions should start looking at getting their boat crew classes back up and running now that we're allowed to meet and do in-person training again. Soon as we can get more and more people back on the water and get the training going, then hopefully we can get some new members ready by the end of the year. That would be wonderful if we can get some, a QEX for that also before the end of the year. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to switch my screen over, and I'm going to open up the district website. Maybe. Okay. So can everyone now see that I'm on the District 11 website homepage? Okay, so this is where you can get a lot of information along with being able to now go over to the national website. It's probably one of the easier ways to be able to do that. Okay, so again, as you click on each of these different tabs, you'll see that they have multiple tabs then down below it, and you can look at whichever section you're wanting to see. You get on the organization, saying boat safety, our operations. Okay, if you click on surface operations, it would then go down and do that. I'm not going to go to that one yet. I want to go ahead and go to our phase 3 rollout, which is where we have the forms that I talked about. You have the risk assessment form. Okay, if I click on that, it will come down below. Now you see you have a link to a auxiliary COVID high risk form. Right, when you click on that, a PDF opens up. And on this one here, again, this is not a fillable PDF, so you'll have to print it from here, fill out the sections. Again, it asks for your name, what unit you're in, right? What our district, flotilla, and district, division, and flotilla you're in, what your number is, and then you answer these questions however it pertains to you. You sign the bottom, date it, and then email this to the DIROC's office on the D11S.South website. The email, and indicate on there what what it is and who it is for. Only on an email, only put one of these per email. So that way, if or only do one thing related to this at a time. So don't put this together with some other information that you want to give to the DIROC's office. Okay, again, then you could also go and read what the phase 3 reconstitution is. So here's what the actual instruction is. You read it. Here's the one that came out from our area commander, which was passed down to Captain Callahan. And then he gives the description of what we can do on phase 3. Then the next one can be our assignment to duty. Okay, so when this is one that you'll do, whether you're asking for VEs to do any other program, if you're wanting to do a training class, right? So you're going to be the person handling a boat crew training class with 10 students. You'll request it using this form. You'll fill out your name, ID, email address, what division and flotilla you're coming from, the date you're going to be submitting this, and what day you're going to do the event on. So whether it's a boat crew class that you're going to be doing at a local, either at someone's house or at a facility that you're able to use. Nature of request. Okay, and this one here then would be probably fall under other if you're going to be doing a boat crew class. So that would be a in-person meeting. And then you'll put down, fill out all the rest of this, and probably in the other details down at the bottom, put in the names of the people that are going to be in your class. Click I am not a robot, hit submit, and then it will go down to the DIROC's office. We'll review it. Okay. And then down here is a guidance on how we can do our mass gatherings now. If anyone has not looked at that yet, that came out again back in about almost a month ago now. To get your information on what's going on in the district right now. So we did a risk management training back on the 4th. We have another one scheduled for the 25th and 26th. Okay, so that's not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday and Wednesday. We have about, I think it's 15 people signed up, so we're still good for another 5 more people to sign into that to make it a full class. So if you know of other people that still want to get into a class this month, they can go ahead and sign up for that one. The way you sign up for it is you click on it. It will now come up. Come on, open up. There it is. And then down here, you'll register. Click register. And right now we have a list of the people. Again, we have about 15 people signed up. So we still have room for 5 more. And then next week, we'll go ahead and load in June's. And then you'll go ahead and have your people who, either yourself or other people that want to do the next risk management classes in June, go in and start signing up for those. Okay, let me go ahead now and show you how you can now kind of get some information on the operations, surface operations. You go to operations department, click on the surface operations, and it gives a little description of what surface operations is. in the Coxswain and Crew Job Aid Kit, you're gonna have to log on with your member number and ID. So I'll go ahead and log on that. Since I've been logging on it, it remembers me. So then you'll come up and it will have all this information that you can use to help either what you'll need for a trainee or what you'll need for studying for recertification. All the information's in here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go back.
Tom,
Yes.
before you leave that page,
Already did, but okay. Yeah, no, I'm here right now. Yeah.
notice that some of the items like Boat Crew Study Guides 1 and 2 aren't linked. There are no links.
Because that's right, because those are the ones that are out of date now. So we have to
Okay.
go to the that's where I was gonna go to the national website next, which has the new boat crew manuals. Okay, so
okay.
the new boat crew manuals haven't gotten loaded onto ours yet. I'll talk to Chris Harshfield about how we can get those linked up so that way you can actually do it right from ours. But what you're gonna have to tell your members is, okay, you got to go to the national website for that.
Right.
And then they're easy downloadable. And you can put them on your either a laptop or desktop and have them. They're large though, a couple hundred pages each. So printing I find is not probably a viable way. You may only want to print the pages you're wanting to work on at the time. But if you try, but you can go to, if you decide you want the whole book, you can go to Kinko's and they can print it for you. It might cost some. And again, as auxiliaries, we're a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary Association. Kinko's, FedEx Kinko's does have a deal with the Auxiliary Association to do it at a reduced rate, but it still does cost some, right? It's not free.
Right. I printed out the 5 handbooks and it was $100.
Yeah,
with a
it's
discount.
not cheap. It's not
No.
cheap. Yeah. But again, for some people, they're good. They're able to handle working it on a laptop. I'm not so good. I'm not so good at that. I prefer having paper in hand myself also. But
it also seems to me, and I don't remember if it was on this list or not, but in some places on the district website, I've come across things that for boat crew that seem out of date. So I don't know if it was on this list or something else I found deeper in.
Right.
But I couldn't tell if it was current or not.
Right. If you come across one that either is not current, don't hesitate, send me an email and I'll find out and either get it removed or updated as needed.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep. So let me go back now. Okay, so on here, when you're back to this is back to the surface operations home page, we'll call it, right? So it's the front page for the surface operations. We have the national website. So if you click that one, it takes you to the operations section, the response directorate of the national website. Same thing, to actually look at anything, you're going to have to log in again with your member number and the password you set up. Okay, so we're not response covers multiple disciplines. It's both surface operations, aviation, and telecommunication. Some of us are multiple, so you could then look at either one of them on this website. But right now we're looking at the surface operations. So you can click on surface operations. And now when you go into here, it can say what's, right? So you have updated manuals. It's right here, this top one in red. So this is where all the new updated manuals are. So these are the ones that you'll want to get on, and again, oh, I forgot I did have to log in again. So log in under my password. And then now here's the new operations. Here's the new books that we would have to be, that we should be using to train our new trainees. All right, so again, it shows what the ops policy manual is. Okay, a MDA checklist, our survival system guidance, uniforms procedures, search and rescue addendum, our risk management matrix, a GAR, how you can do the operational excellence program if a crew is ready to do that, right? Again, that would be rather than doing that, we will not do that during a QEX. That would be done on a special request that they want to do the operational excellence check. And then we'll send a QE out for that. Down in the second section is all the new training manuals. And if you see here, this has both the new and the old manuals, along with what's called a crosswalk. The crosswalk shows what sections of the new manual the information was in the old manual. Again, so if you click on one of them, so this is the new Boat Crew Handbook. Again, it's 292 pages. So it's going to be, there's a lot of information in there, right? Downloading it, or getting it printed is not going to be cheap, but it is able to be downloaded to your computer, and then you can look it up on your computer. Okay, any questions on that? Anybody have any other questions? We're getting close to the end of our time. So this will be our last chance, right? It's about time we're going to take a few minute break before we go into the our next person. And again, we can see who that is by going to the calendar. Going to today. And then it shows our next is going to be on our leadership training by Paul. So if no one has anything else for surface ops, let's go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I have,
Steve.
yep.
Steve first. We'll let Steve get his thing. Yes, Steve.
Do we just stay here if we're in the next
No,
hour?
the next
Okay,
one,
thank you.
The next one, you'll have to go into the calendar and click the next link.
Got it.
Which means Paul might have left us already to get set up for his link.
Tom,
Okay, Diane, yeah.
the other day I went to look for frequently asked questions before we did our ops workshop, and they're not there now for the
Okay.
phase 3. Are they
Let me go
creating
see.
a new list, or?
Let me see. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have, that will be a question I'll have to ask this, where they could have went. Okay.
They used to be at the bottom of that menu thing right there.
Right. That's yeah. Okay. I'll talk to Chris Harshfield on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. FAQs. All right. Anyone, any other questions? Because it's about time we should go. And anyone that's going to move on to the next session, it will be time to log off of this one. Again, this one, since that's a different Zoom link, you'll have to log off this one and log on to the next one. And thank you all for showing and being here today. It's nice to see us and be able to now know that we'll be able to at least get out and get together again and start doing some operations and some training.
Thank you, Tom.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Tom.
Thank you, Tom. Had to take
Thank
a
you,
busy
Tom.
meeting.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you,
You're
Tom.
welcome.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome. Yeah.